Hi everyone, and welcome to week 9 of your creative writing class. I am your teacher, Hayleigh Worgan. Thank you guys so much for turning in a lot of your work over the last week. I'm working on getting caught up on grades. Just a reminder for you guys, you need to get your work in, get caught up definitely before the end of this week, okay? I know it's a lot of work, but we've had a lot of time to do it, and grades are due on my end this week. So for this, midterm kind of report deal. So please turn in your work so this can look, really good on your reports, okay? Again, if you have questions, I always put my email in the class notes and in the slide presentation. Feel free to reach out to me. Many of you have, and we've talked about ways for you to get points back and to make sure that you get the best grade possible, because I am on your side and I want you to do really well. And so, let me help you do that, okay? Reach out to me. Now, with that being said, today we are going to continue our discussion and our construction of this character. What's really neat about these exercises is that you're building a character you could actually take and put in a novel. You could create a collection of short stories based on this character. You could really do anything you wanted to with this character and continue to work with him, her, them, for the foreseeable future. So I want you to hold on to all these pieces, because I would like us to consider putting them together in a larger portfolio for each one of you when this is all done. So today we're going to talk about sequence and flashback. So many of you probably know what these are, but in case you don't, sequence means the order of events described in a story. So some events are presented in the order in which they occur, but sometimes the action is interrupted with events from an earlier time, and that is something called a flashback. Now, this flashback, again, it's an action from an earlier time, but it can also help explain the character's actions. You might see certain words that hint towards a flashback or will allow you to construct a timeline of events that are happening in a story, and these words are called sequence words. Sequence words can include words like 4 years ago, moments later, while, the list goes on here. Next, right? That would be another one too. So flashbacks help us understand characters by exploring maybe how they've changed, or they help us understand the character's relationship to another character, or they help us predict how a character will act in a future situation, and sometimes they add to our understanding of a character's world. So today, I'd like to read to you from a selection from a book called Holes, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with. And so this section is going to be a little bit of, I guess you could call it a flashback. It describes Stanley Yelnats' great-great-grandfather and some of the context behind a curse that is following the Yelnats family. So starting on page 28. Stanley's great-great-grandfather was named Ilya Yelnats. He was born in Latvia. When he was 15 years old, he fell in love with Myra Minke. He didn't know he was Stanley Yelnats' great-great-grandfather. Myra Minke was 14. She would turn 15 in 2 months, at which time her father had decided she should be married. Ilya went to her father to ask for her hand, but so did Igor Barkov, the pig farmer. Igor was 57 years old. He had a red nose and fat, puffy cheeks. "I will trade you my fattest pig for your daughter," Igor offered. "And what have you got?" Myra's father asked Ilya. "A heart full of love," said Ilya. "I'd rather have a fat pig," said Myra's father. Desperate, Ilya went to see Madame Zeroni, an old Egyptian woman who lived on the edge of town. He had become friends with her, though she was quite a bit older than him. She was even older than Igor Barkov. so other boys of his village liked to mud wrestle. Hayleigh preferred visiting Madame Zeroni and listening to her many stories. Madame Zeroni had dark skin and a very wide mouth. When she looked at you, her eyes seemed to expand, and you felt like she was looking right through you. Hayleigh, what's wrong? She asked before he even told her he was upset. She was sitting in a homemade wheelchair. She had no left foot. Her leg stopped at her ankle. I'm in love with Myra Minky, Hayleigh confessed, but Igor Barkov has offered to trade his fattest pig for her. I can't compete with that. Good, said Madame Zeroni. You're too young to get married. You've got your whole life ahead of you. But I love Myra. Myra's head is as empty as a flower pot. But she's beautiful. So is a flower pot. Can she push a plow? Can she milk a goat? No, she is too delicate. Can she have an intelligent conversation? No, she is silly and foolish. Will she take care of you when you are sick? No, she is spoiled and will only want you to take care of her. So she is beautiful. So what? Madame Zeroni spat on the dirt. She told Hayleigh that he should go to America, like my son. That is where your future lies, not with Myra Minky. But Hayleigh would hear none of that. He was 15, and all he could see was Myra's shallow beauty. Madame Zeroni hated to see Hayleigh so forlorn. Against her better judgment, she agreed to help him. It just so happens my sow gave birth to a litter of piglets yesterday, she said. There is one little runt whom she won't suckle. You may have him. He would die anyway. Madame Zeroni led Hayleigh around the back of her house where she kept her pigs. Hayleigh took the tiny piglet, but he didn't see what good it would do him. It wasn't much bigger than a rat. He'll grow, Madame Zeroni assured him. Do you see that mountain on the edge of the forest? Yes, said Hayleigh. On the top of that mountain there is a stream where the water runs uphill. You must carry the piglet every day to the top of the mountain and let it drink from the stream. As it drinks, you are to sing to him. She taught Hayleigh a special song to sing to the pig. On the day of Myra's 15th birthday, you should carry the pig up the mountain for the last time. Then take it directly to Myra's father. It will be fatter than any of Igor's pigs. If it is that big and fat, said Hayleigh, how will I be able to carry it up the mountain? The piglet is not too heavy for you now, is it? Asked Madame Zeroni. Of course not. Do you think it will be too heavy for you tomorrow? No. Every day you will carry the pig up the mountain. It will get a little bigger, but you will get a little stronger. After you give the pig to Myra's father, I want you to do one more thing for me. Anything, said Hayleigh. I want you to carry me up the mountain. I want to drink from the stream, and I want you to sing the song to me. Hayleigh promised he would. Madame Zeroni warned that if he failed to do this, he and his descendants would be doomed for all of eternity. At the time, Hayleigh thought nothing of the curse. He was just a 15-year-old kid, and eternity didn't seem much longer than a week from Tuesday. Besides, he liked Madame Zeroni and would be glad to carry her up the mountain. He would have done it right then and there, but he wasn't yet strong enough. Okay, so the story continues on, and we learn a lot more about this curse and about Hayleigh's decision and how it impacts the future generations of his family. So, as writers, we have the ability to do these things as well. Now today, I'm going to introduce you to 4 new images for characters to inspire you. Let's go ahead and see those images right now. Okay, so talking about a character switch here. Today we are going to use a brand new image to construct a flashback for your original character. This is the first character you chose a few weeks ago. Now, the image you choose can be of a character who used to be their friend. It could be an earlier version of themselves, or simply someone they used to know. So, I chose the first image again. I chose the boy with the violin here. And he is an earlier version of the character I chose at the beginning, the elderly gentleman standing out in the open field. And here is my example. Pops wasn't always a fan of my violin. Mom convinced him that I needed lessons simply because he had only heard the beautiful music she played on Saturday nights when they relaxed by the fireplace. She said any child of hers would touch that instrument and just know what to do. She was wrong. I took my first lessons with Miss Hazel when I was just 9 years old. The violin was difficult to rest on my collarbone because of its size, but we made it work. Reach for that note, she'd say during our lessons. The higher I'd reach, the more patience my dad would lose. Will he ever learn how to just play one simple song? I heard him murmur to my mom one evening. Give him some time, Charles, she replied. It doesn't happen overnight. I practiced for years before I could play like I do now. Some nights Pops would storm out of the house and let the screen door slam shut behind him when I practiced. I would hear him outside chopping wood or working on the car. If he was doing the latter, the radio was always on and turned up loud enough to drown me out. Years passed. Mama took up my lessons when Mrs. Hazel stopped coming. I began playing beautiful songs with my mama. Sometimes I would play in her place on Saturday nights. I knew I had come a long way when Pops looked at her one night after I finished playing and said, "Yep, that's your boy." I still play a little every now and then. Rebecca loved to hear me play by the fire every Saturday night. It was never for her as much as it was for that couple by the fireplace, distant in my memories, but never far from my heart. On the nights when I'm alone and I feel as though I could use a friend, I play for the ghost in the walls of this farmhouse and remember the little boy who could barely support the weight of an instrument on his collarbone all those years ago. Okay, so that is my example of a flashback, and it's probably between 250 and 500 words, definitely less than 500, you guys. So what I want you to do is I want you to do the same thing. I want you to choose a brand new image from those earlier in the video. They'll also be included in the slide presentation. And this image is going to help you construct a flashback again for your original character, okay? So the image you choose can be of a character who used to be their friend, again, or an earlier version of themselves, or simply someone they used to know and care about. This should be between 250 and 500 words in length. So again, I've included my email in the slide presentation and in the class notes for you. If you have questions, please let me know. This will be due this Friday, March 12th by 11:59 p.m. And also, I wanted to let you guys know I'm going to continue on with the journal prompts for you. These are things you could write about in your journal. There is a new journal prompt book that I have started, so I will just share those randomly with you. And the first one is actually one that might help you guys, especially right now as you are trying to catch up with work and make sure that you have the best grades possible on your reports. And that is to just reflect a little bit in, 500 words or less in your journal privately about where you want to be as a student in the next 3 months. What kind of person, what student do you see yourself as? How do you see yourself being successful? Okay, so that's something that might actually help you a little bit as you are working towards this goal of completing your work and just being the best possible version of yourself that you envision. Okay, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please email me if you have questions. I believe in you. You are going to do so well on your midterm reports. Just, stick with it. It's going to be just fine, okay? I'll see you guys next week, and I'll announce my virtual hours in Google Classroom later this week. Bye, guys.